absolutely horrible out there.
It is grim out there. Lumen, the quarter zip fleece is back, my friend. We need to get sponsorship from Regatta because that's now all I'll be wearing from now till,
Definitely.
what, April next year.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to A Different Corner, a fantasy football podcast. My name's Manish Verma. I'm joined by Dr. Luman Ali after a frantic game week 5. I feel like we should, whilst it is a fantasy football podcast, Lumen, we should start with the humdinger that was Sunday Night Football. What do you think?
Can I defer to you because you're the Arsenal fan here? I need to know how you're feeling. Are you feeling like it's a point gained or 2 points dropped?
I'm feeling like it's a point gained. And I just said the humdinger. I feel like it's a heavyweight match. And I don't feel like I've been knocked out Anthony Joshua style. I feel like, you know what? I'm so glad Arsenal are in the fight and up for the fight. Of course, you don't want to be conceding in the last seconds of a game, but I was so proud. I felt like it was a warrior mentality that we had going into it. You're going to poo-poo this saying, well, you didn't get the 3 points, and lots of non-Arsenal fans are going to say that. But you know what? 10 men against arguably the best team in Europe, arguably. Come on, man. What we did, what that defense did, what David Raya did. Oh, man. For me, I'm just happy we're in the fight.
Let me bring a couple of points to your attention.
You're going to sober me here.
Firstly, Rodri said, end of last season, that the difference between City and Arsenal is Arsenal are happy with the draw, whereas City aren't. Then let's look at what Roy Keane said. Roy Keane was like, we're heaping too much praise on Arsenal. They could have been more proactive going forward, right? Then there'll be Arsenal fans saying, well, it's suicidal to do this against this Man City team. But we've got all of these threads going now. I've dropped a few different things there, but what this ties into is recently we've had this nostalgia fest about Barclays, man, and they spoke yesterday about Barclays, right? It was a Barclays game. And when I was watching it, I was thinking this was very much like the Inter Milan-Barcelona game in 2010 in the Champions League semi-final. But it also made me think about another game. And for me, this game is one of my favorite games because I'm not a Man United fan or an Arsenal fan.
A Man City fan or an Arsenal fan, yeah.
No. I'm talking about Man United and
Arsenal
fan. Now, let me jog your memory.
What year are we talking here, Lumen?
We're talking here 2004, 2005, right? Season after the Invincible season. United are not playing at their best, but they go to Highbury and they go down to 10 men, but they still win. And that was the game when John O'Shea chipped Jens Lehmann, right?
Yeah.
That was with 10 men. That was against an Arsenal team that were incredible going forward. Probably some might even say more incisive than this Man City team, which is a death by 1,000 cuts, right? So, if we frame it around that, are Arsenal ready to be champions?
I think I accept that. I accept that as a
Do you remember the game though?
I do. I hate to think about it because I remember John O'Shea and I was thinking how did we let him of all players
10 men.
I know. I know. I appreciate this. I suppose it's been 2 decades since we lifted the Premier League trophy. The fact that the last 2 seasons shows we're contenders. And I just thought that we were up for a dirty fight as well. Like, this wasn't pretty stuff. That after that sending off, we had to do the dirty. We had to waste time. We had to save the ball and jump on and let the clock run. And obviously, we conceded still at the very death. But to do what we did and to defend the way we did against this Man City team. And Luman, we could have won. If we had 11 players on the pitch, we were winning 2-1. Let's not forget that. We were winning 2-1. And you said this team is death by 1,000 cuts, and that Arsenal team was more incisive. That Arsenal team played a different game in that they didn't just hog the ball. Man City suffocate possession of the football. That Arsenal team would let you have it, but then just try to beat you up, right? So they'll let you have it. This Man City team don't let you have the ball. So your only way is, right, guys, we're camping out here. Try your best.
Do you know what, right? I wanted to make sure I was getting this correct. But that game that was referencing, the other reason why it was a classic was because Roy Keane said to Patrick Vieira, "We'll see you out there. We'll see you out there."
Yeah.
I'm not getting that from Arsenal now.
Dude, now at the end of that game, do you not feel
let's keep it real here, right? When it was 11 against 11, there were stretches of the game when Arsenal had 11 men behind the ball. When
of
it was
course.
11 against 11.
Of course.
Right.
Of course.
No, but what I'm saying is,
when it was 11 against 11, it was 2-1 Arsenal.
It was, but we talk about this fabled Arsenal defense, right? That first goal was comical. I mean, Haaland, 10 goals in 5 games, and they leave him alone. Like, what's that about?
You're always going to get lapses, but come on, man. The rest. What about the rest of the game?
All I will say is this, right? It's Arsenal fans are celebrating this draw, right? But
considering the circumstances, celebrating the draw.
I keep going back to that match. You say circumstances. Man United downward to 10 men. They're not. They're rebuilding. They haven't won the league for a season, right? And then you got Arsenal, invincibles. And it's the mentality. And I'm trying to tell you that until the mentality changes at Arsenal, Liverpool.
So you're basically saying go. It is suicide ball, Luman. You can't do it.
Liverpool to beat this a City team, they had to get to like 99 points.
I know.
And let's look at the season. They got 97 points, right? In the 97-point season, they lost one game. And that game was to City.
Yeah.
When John Stones cleared it over the line, right?
Yeah.
But that's what they had to do, right?
What you're saying is to be the best, you need to beat the best. That's what you're
100%.
saying. 100%. And you don't think, based on yesterday, that is why Arsenal will not be champions because of that very reason?
I'm talking that, you can talk all you want about 10 men, whatever, right? But there's a reason why. Let me drop some names for you. Michael Thomas, Mark Overmars, Sylvain Wiltord are Arsenal legends.
Yeah.
Because those goals happened at the grounds of the biggest rivals and they were decisive. Talking about results, were you happy with your points haul for this week?
So what did I end up on? I ended up on a pleasing 66. The average was 58, and I was happy. Going into Sunday, I was thinking, oh, you know what? If I can touch that 70 mark, this is a very good week for me, because after Saturday, I was pretty pleased with myself. I had Nico Jackson, who got me 16. I had Mo Salah, who got me the 6. Ollie Watkins as captain got me 12 because of the captaincy. But actually, I got some surprising points at the back. Who knew? I got not a clean sheet from Ezri Konsa at Aston Villa. Again, no clean sheet for Aston Villa. But I did get a goal. That brought me 9. And Ibrahima Konate was my transfer. I did 2 transfers this week, both of which worked, actually. I brought in Konate, who got me an assist and clean sheet. And I brought in Watkins, who I mentioned, got me the goal. Otherwise, yeah, ones for another assist from Bukayo Saka. What a What a pinpoint corner. That was beautiful. But otherwise, blanks again from Eze. He's going this week. Blanks from blanks from Havertz this week. And Minte only came off the bench for how many minutes did he play? 28 minutes. So not great. Diego Jota did not even appear for me. Which, again, another player who's out of my team in game week 6. So 66 points. What about yourself?
That's brilliant considering you didn't have Haaland.
Yeah.
I had a decent week. I got 50. The reason why I say decent is I'm not expecting to come ahead of you any week because my defense is so bad, because my forwards are so bad. It's well documented. So I got 58 with an average of 58. The points for me were similar to yours with Mo Salah, who was my captain, Ollie Watkins. But where we are slightly different is I got 6 for Solanke, 8 for Palmer, 8 for Mbeumo, and 8 for Smith Rowe. So, am I happy? Because I'm clinging on. I've said it before. I need to make major changes, and I made my major changes after the City game yesterday because
wild card?
No, not my wild card.
Oh, major changes, but how many did you manage to rack up? Like many free transfers or something?
I had 3 free transfers, and I took a -4 because I had to get my choice of players in.
Very good. Can we just say, side note, we've been slating Dominic Solanke all this time. He didn't get a Nico Jackson haul, but he finally got a goal for you, Luman. He finally returned for you.
But he's a goner.
He's a goner.
Look, I would have had a extra 4 points, and what killed me was Harwood Bellis for Southampton. He was keeping a clean sheet until the 90-something odd minute. That would have been decent, but I've had some shockers at the back. I mean, Pau Torres, I got him in. He's got me. I mean, his total across 5 games is like 7 points. Horrific.
That's bad.
Absolutely horrific.
Can I ask, when I looked at your team, when I did a little sneak peek after the game week deadline, then you have to wait for the app to load and it says it's updating. There are 2 teams I'm going straight to, yours and my cousin Jimmy's, who's top of our league, right? So I'm trying to do a little scope. What are you doing? And Jimmy's I look at and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's just got everyone that I want in. It's unbelievable. And he did amazingly again, 80 plus points again. Then I looked at yours this week and I was like, how is this guy? What game is this guy playing? Because you hate your team and you're refusing to change it. And I'm like, he's still got Solanke in. He's still got Isak in. He's still got Pau Torres in. Like, even Diego Jota to a degree. Like, none of these guys have been doing it for you. I'm like, what game is he playing this week? Like, this season where he's not making the changes?
And you know what's crazy? I'm only 11 points behind you.
I know. This is the madness. This is the madness. But have you just been biding your time trying to store up these free transfers in order to do what you're going to do in game week 6?
I've also looked at fixtures and things like that and not got carried away. Yes, maybe I should have looked at, imagine if I took Solanke and Jota out and I put in Nicholas Jackson and, Luis Diaz, I'd be laughing. But look, I'm not in an ideal situation, but I don't want to panic. But I mentioned Luis Diaz, right? Right now, he's proving better value than Salah in terms of cost. And I'm a Liverpool fan. I watch or try and watch every single game. Salah, since the international break, has been horrific in front of goal. Absolutely horrific. So, as a non-Liverpool fan, do you think Diaz will continue his rich vein of form?
Can I watched the highlights. It was only a 3-minute highlight reel, right? But that 3 minutes I saw Luis Diaz turning into prime Messi. Did he have the best game ever, because I always think Luis Diaz is a bit of a messy player. He's very direct. He's very messy in his, I feel like sometimes control in front of goal. Everything that was coming to him at weird angles, at difficult heights, he was bringing down and he was going at you. And I was like, who is this? And then in front of goal, I know you've had a problem with him in front of goal before, just no end product. He's just been doing it. And I'm like, how has this guy gone? Has he been playing like this all season? And I've just not noticed. He, for me, is on the top of my shopping list, really. He's had, what, 1, 2, 3 double-digit hauls this season,
Yeah, that's
5
crazy.
goals and 1 assist. He is better value than Mo Salah. Can we realistically be talking about not having Mo Salah in our squads and then using that money on a couple Diaz's? Like, obviously there's Luis Diaz, but there's in that 7-8 million bracket, you might even be able to squeeze in a Cole Palmer, a Luis Diaz, and an Erling Haaland in, because you'll save that Salah money. But I don't know. You tell me. We cannot surely discount Salah.
He's on my list of getting replaced Salah, because
Wow.
it's the bloody international break. The international break has absolutely killed him. He was amazing before that international break.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna see what Salah does before moving off him. So yeah, right now Diaz proving better value than Salah. And on the subject of value, most seasons I don't spend money on my defense because unless I see a team keeping clean sheets consistently, I don't move for them. And it's the same this season. Do you think I'm making a mistake because there's teams out there that are keeping? I mean, Man United, they've got this stigma attached to them about being a bad team. They've kept 3 clean sheets in 4 games, right?
Yeah.
5 games.
Yeah.
If we look at goalkeepers, you talk about who's been the best, and everyone will say, "Oh well, David Raya." David Raya's only got 3 more points than Sanchez and Onana.
Yeah.
So and then Man United have kept 3 clean sheets. Liverpool kept 4 clean sheets. Arsenal have kept, I think, 3 clean sheets, right?
Yeah.
So the question is it a no-brainer to invest in your defense?
It's the defense every year is like, can you, apart from Trent, can you spend really more than 4.5, even 5 million? Who is going to bring you points?
Corners and set pieces.
Absolutely. I mean, Arsenal, of course. Last season, Arsenal defenders were worth their value because we were getting so many clean sheets. This year, they're like 1 million more expensive. I like Timber at Arsenal at 5.5. At least you'll save a bit of money. Man U is the one. As bad as they are, they do get, the numbers don't lie, right? They do get clean sheets, and especially when they're at home. I know they played away, but when they're at home, that I would think even harder to play against or to score against.
Yeah.
So definitely the Man U, because you're just getting more value there. For me, the Liverpool ones are really interesting this season. I've got him in now, Konate, because he's the cheapest one, and they're harder to play against. So you probably could spend a bit more, but I mean, I don't know. Villa, you can't, no clean sheets there. Spurs are not going to keep you any clean sheets. You know who is one actually to keep an eye on? Chelsea. Now, I know they played a bad West Ham team, but there's now 2 clean sheets on the bounce.
Yep.
And there's some at 4.5. Colwill is only 4.5. I like him a lot at that price point, and they're playing at home next. So yes, you should probably be looking, but should you be looking more at above 4.5? I'm not sure if there still is the value for me.
Yeah, well, touch upon a few things that you said. So firstly, You mentioned Man United, and they're keeping clean sheets. Yet you transferred out Martinez, so that's interesting. Secondly, Colwill is definitely one that I'm looking at because out of all the Chelsea defenders, he's played the most.
Yeah.
And even though Raya got me points last week and he's got me 4 points this week, if I'd stuck with Sanchez, he would have got me more points. So it's a bit maddening. I think if you're going to spend money, it's between the Arsenal defenders and the Liverpool defenders, and I think Arsenal are just a touch more solid. So I would go with them for that. But I think it does open up the debate. If they keep getting clean sheets, then you have to think, wow. If I stack, let's just say I go with Raya, Gabriel, and Saliba every week, right? Guarantee of 18 points, 20 points right there. But
not guaranteed, but yeah.
You mentioned something that was interesting, right? You talking about Timber being solid. Now that Calafiori is playing, right? Okay. Saliba and Gabriel are no-brainers, right? Who are two out of the other three? Who are they right now?
It is Ben White, right back. I think it is an injury. I think he trusts him defensively. He works brilliantly with Bukayo Saka. It's the left back one is the alternating one. I think it's going to be. I think if he wants to play football, I think he puts in Timber. And if he wants to go real solid, I think he goes Calafiori. That's the way I think it works.
But you wouldn't go for either of them in case of the rotation, right?
No, for me, I put in Timber. I've been looking at Timber, and if he gets rested, then fine. I don't mind a substitution on him. But if he starts, it's a good chance for an Arsenal clean sheet, and I'll take that risk at 5.5. At 5.5.
That nicely segues on to you said substitutions and risk.
Oh yeah,
John Duran. 5 games, 5 substitute appearances, 4 goals.
Gosh, the minutes, the goal per minutes ratio for this guy is unreal. Again, doing it. He's not played more than half an hour in any game. 29 minutes against Leicester, the most, and 4 goals he scored. I don't know what to. Can you realistically? I mean, I've just said it. I would I would include a player who may not start in Timber. So would I include a player who wouldn't start up front in John Duran? I suppose I would at 6.1 because I'm trying to squeeze in Erling Haaland. Yep. Absolutely, I would. But are there other £6 million strikers who are going to get more minutes than him and therefore have longer game time to score a goal? Chris Wood is one. There's someone I'm going to mention later who I'm very much seriously looking at as well. But John Duran, what do you think? He comes in that bracket of players also who I also include in this. I'm sure there are others, but Harvey Barnes, not played that many minutes, but gosh, they are just returning. Yep. Harvey Barnes, I feel like more so than John Duran, is now figuring out that actually I'm going to start in this first 11, and I think he's giving Eddie Howe a problem because he's just value every weekend. Whereas John Duran, I think Emery is like, no, this works. You come on for the last half an hour and score me a goal, sort of thing.
Yeah. A few years ago, Harvey Barnes played against Liverpool a couple of times, and I was very impressed. He was very direct in the way he plays, and he's had injury issues, but he's a very strong differential, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know if people should be taking advice of us on differentials because we were very high on Brighton along with other people. Gosh. And we looked at their fixture list and we saw 2 good games and the returns have not been great. What's your take on it?
They were playing against I'm moving off Minte. Yeah, I don't think
the
again.
The fresh feeling is gone.
It's gone. It absolutely has. I have to move off him. Who is it at Brighton? Really, it's got to be Mitoma in that midfield. Really, who's very good. They were playing against a very, very good, I think, Nottingham Forest team who've just come off a win at Anfield, right? So Forest aren't mugs this season. I rate them highly, actually. But yeah, I still expected them to win. I actually think they expected to win as well and see that game out. But yeah, disappointing on Brighton, actually. I still rate them, but maybe not so much Mintet anymore. There is a player at Brighton who I like a lot. And if this is the George Michael theme podcast, who do we have fast love for? His big hit, fast love. Which player, I'm going to ask you, Luman. In fact, I'm going to answer it myself first. Are you fast loving this season? And for me, talking of Brighton, it's Danny Welbeck. My gosh, like the guy has returned again
Yeah.
with an absolute peach, a peach of a free kick. I don't think I have ever seen Danny Welbeck even take a free kick, let alone score a free kick. 3 goals, 1 assist, and he's playing, the minimum number of minutes he played was 78 minutes, and he's mostly completing, 80 plus minutes. I really am liking Danny Welbeck this season. I feel like it might be one of them where, you every now and again you hear it or see it. This veteran of the league is now just having this renaissance, and I kind of think this might be a Danny Welbeck renaissance, a Premier League revenge tour for Danny Welbeck. So he's my fast love player that I have got fast love for. How about you?
I'm going to keep it boring because we've already spoken about it. But as a Liverpool fan, Luis Diaz.
Okay.
I know you. You want me to talk about Brian and Mbeumo and Emile Smith Rowe, right?
I want you to talk about Emile Smith Rowe. I want you to talk about, because we should not go this pod without talking about Fulham, man. Like 1 defeat all season. That was to away at Old Trafford, which they should not have lost really. And otherwise, 2 wins, 2 draws. Fulham, and they just tucked away Newcastle very comfortably. Emile Smith Rowe central to that, by the way. Come on, man! It's got to be ESR.
When Emile Smith Rowe was playing for Arsenal, this guy used to return.
Yeah.
And I thought, my guy is going to a smaller club where he'll be the center of attention and he will be Jared Bowen-esque. That was my gut feeling. Mm-hmm. And I went for him, and so far he's returned.
Really nice. Really nice. He's returning. He's not completing 90, but 2 goals and an assist. I think he's just getting started. I say that he's got some tricky fixtures coming up, but yeah, Fulham deserve a lot of credit so far this season, and getting in Fulham assets away from just ESR. Raul Jimenez scored again this weekend. If you're looking for another cheap striker, yeah, I think. All right, Luis Diaz, but that's a bit of we've spoken about him. ESR, man, Emile Smith Rowe, and we should mention Brian Mbeumo. In fact, I think we'll probably mention him for our game week 6 fixtures. As you were saying, Luman, you what you're doing for game week 6.
So game week 6, I've made dramatic changes. I've done 4 transfers. Now, the aim of the transfers was to sort out, get rid of Jota, get rid of Solanke, and get rid of Isak. That was the motivation, right?
Yeah.
And I managed that. I've had to go -4, but I managed that. Now my surgery will turn to the defense, which you'll see. But I'm looking forward to seeing what you're going to do, because I know you're conflicted. I know you're thinking, I cannot miss out on these Haaland points. Yet I'm doing all right without Haaland. So here's my prediction. I'm not even going to let you tell me what you're going to do. I think you're going to not do your wild card. I think you're going to get rid of Jota for Diaz, and I think you're going to get rid of Minte for Emile Smith Rowe. That's what I think you'll do.
Semi right. Okay, so here's where I am at. I've got 2 free transfers in the bank. Okay, so that's useful, and it's not just Jota that's causing me problems and Minte. In my midfield, I've got a man at Crystal Palace who I love on paper, who I'd love Arsenal to be signing, but the guy's not returning. Eze is just not doing it. And at home to Man United, I thought he would return. He's got to go. Collectively, that is a lot of money there in Diego Jota, Eze, and Minte that I can invest better. Whilst Luis Diaz is at the top of my shopping list, his fixture away to Wolves wasn't as juicy as Brentford at home to West Ham. And so Brian Mbuemo is the guy who I'm thinking that is what I really like, because after West Ham at home, Brentford have got Wolves at home. And I just think that is, do I want to be missing out on those points? And I do not. What I
Brentford
supplement,
aren't doing great this season.
they're not, but Brentford at home and Mbuemo is doing very well. You're trying to put me off Brian Mbuemo here, but you're
It's
not
facts.
you're not gonna do that. I was looking at my wild card last night. I was looking at it and I was thinking, you know, I could do this, get Erling Haaland in, and I'm good to go. Then I'm like, you know, my strikers, Kai Havertz, Ollie Watkins, and Nico Jackson have got very nice fixtures in game week 6. And so I'm again probably going to defer my wild card to my detriment, I think. To my detriment. Man City have got to go away to Newcastle. And yeah, they've been conceding. But Newcastle's not always difficult place to go. So that's kind of where I'm at the minute. I'm not sure who, but Brian Mbuemo is there for me. Who else is around him? I'm not sure, but it is definitely in that midfield I need to do my working out.
Shall we go through the fixtures quickly?
Let's go through the fixtures.
Newcastle, Man City. Haaland again.
It's the Erling Haaland show again, isn't it? And Newcastle are not keeping clean sheets either, and coming off a defeat to Fulham. I just think Newcastle at home is a horrible place to go. If there's anywhere I do not want to go, is Newcastle away. You know, I'm going for a draw. I'm going for a draw there.
I think Man City will win that. They're not at top gear, and yet look where they are. I mean,
can I also ask you? We have said, and we believe, I believe, in the phrase "defense wins you titles." Yeah, Man City conceding every weekend. Thoughts?
They're an exception to the rule.
Okay,
because, you know, they're just outscoring the opposition, so that's crazy. But Arsenal, Leicester, pretty straightforward win, right?
You would hope so. Although I got to give credit to Leicester, man. Everyone had them down this season before they even kicked a ball down. They are grinding results out, and we're from Leicester, so I kind of feel a bit of love for City and this underdog mentality that they are having and carrying into every match. But I do expect an Arsenal victory there, and yeah, I expect a clean sheet. But let's see.
Yeah, I've told you already. I think if it's not a drubbing, Arsenal should be disappointed. Brentford, West Ham. I'll take this one. West Ham are in a bad spell. They've lost 3 games on the bounce at home. I think they'll bounce back in this game. Yep. And who are you taking from there?
I'm going Brentford. I know they've got problems, but I just think the Brian Mbuemo show carries on. That's what I'm thinking.
It's just what I was saying was I think Lopetegui is a good manager, and I don't expect them to bounce back. I expect them to bounce back. Then we've got Chelsea, Brighton. Chelsea are in a good run of form, but I think I wouldn't be surprised if it's a draw, this one. What about you?
I think Chelsea go marching on, and I think Nico Jackson again. He's causing problems, man. Like, he's just getting, his numbers are good. In fact, didn't we say Nico Jackson is better value for money than Erling Haaland? Now, this was before Erling Haaland scored yesterday, but we basically did a rough calculation of total points this season divided by millions cost. And we worked out this was before. I mean, we could probably do it very quickly now. Actually, let's do that. Let's do that sum. So Nico Jackson has got. Sorry, go on. You
not
while I'm
having
doing
Nico
this.
Jackson has cost me, and it's why you're not doing your wild card. Nico Jackson is the reason why you're not doing your wild card. I've said it.
So Nico Jackson's got 35 points this season. Divide that by 7.7 million. So he is at a value, we are saying, at 4.5 points per million he costs. Erling Haaland. So remember that, 4.5. Erling Haaland. Let's do a quick calculation. Ridiculous numbers. He's got 63 points divided by 15.3 he is now. He is at 4.1. So 4.1 points per million he costs. So Nico Jackson is better value than Erling Haaland. Is that fact? Can we actually make that as a conclusion?
Yeah, but I can see a world where you've got Haaland and Jackson in your team. I know that's what you're, but I still can't believe I don't have Nico Jackson in my team. It's just madness.
Until game week 6, that is.
No, I'll tell you now, I bought Havertz in. I saw him against fixture against Leicester. If he doesn't do it for me, he won't do it for you.
You're such a spiteful man. You are. Moving on. Everton, Crystal Palace. I think Everton win that. I don't know what Crystal Palace are right now. They just can't win. They just can't win. And Everton at home, I know they've not been great, but I think they're going to dig something out.
I see a draw there. I see a draw. It won't be a riveting game to watch by any means unless Everton decide to go 2-0 up and lose 3-2. Forest, Fulham.
Ooh, I see.
Two informed teams.
Yeah, I've just gone on about Fulham. I think that's a really good matchup. I think that might be a draw.
Okay. Wolves, Liverpool.
Liverpool. Wolves, they played well against Villa in that first half, but yeah, I can't sit.
I've got to quote you here. You've said in the past, Wolves are one of your favorite teams, full of players you like, Juan, Cunha, etc. Cunha scored this past weekend as well.
Yeah,
so
he did.
There goes your.
Yeah, but I'm going to quote you here. Liverpool are more robust this season.
Yeah, let's see what happens. Ipswich, Villa.
I don't see much for the Tractor Boys here. I think Villa will win. And finally, a clean sheet.
No, they're not a clean sheet. They're awful at the back. But yet, still 4 wins out of 5. They should have 5 wins if Watkins had his finishing boots on.
Yeah.
Probably the game of the weekend. Man United against Spurs. Who you got?
Ooh. Where do I go? I don't rate Spurs away from home, but I just don't. I mean, who's going to score a goal for Man United? Draw.
Oh, I'd say the same thing. We're talking about a United team that have had an inglorious 10 years and a Spurs team that have had an inglorious existence. So, it's
it's a poop off. That's what that is. It
is a poop off. It's exactly that. It's like, if you're walking down the street, would you rather stand in dog poo or fox poo? It doesn't make a difference. It's still poo. And that's what we've got, 2 poo.
And we've got a Monday night football, haven't we?
Yeah, Bournemouth, Southampton. I think Bournemouth bounce back. Southampton are not a good team, but we'll be there. We'll be there.
Looking forward to it. We'll see you there. See you then.